All right, so you were wondering how much it will cost to live in San Antonio? Well, this video is going to be all about the cost of living right here in San Antonio, Texas. So stay tuned. What's up, everybody? This is Lillie Dominguez, and I'm a realtor in the San Antonio metro area. If this is your first time in this channel and you want to know everything about San Antonio, well, I do tons and tons of videos about everything that you need to know. Remember to tap that subscribe button, click that little bell, so that you get notified every time I post a new video. We get lots and lots of calls, text messages, emails every single day from people moving, relocating here, and I absolutely love it. If you're thinking of moving, relocating to the San Antonio area, well, reach out to us. Give us a call, send us a text, or even an email, or even that little pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back with moving to San Antonio, Texas. So let's get started with explaining the meaning of cost of living index. It's comparing the cost of living in one place against another, helping you get a glimpse of how far your money will go before you move. Our goal with this cost of living video is to help you feel more confident in deciding where to live and to help you find your best place to live. Cost of living indices are based on 100. So below 100 means San Antonio is cheaper than the US average. Above 100 means San Antonio is more expensive. The expenses that go into determining the cost of living that we are looking at today for San Antonio are housing, whether buying or renting, utilities, groceries, food, health insurance, transportation, sales tax, because Texas has a sales tax, but it doesn't have a state tax. And then if you have children, childcare and education. So before I start with the cost of living statistics, I'm letting you know that the most important points are at the end. So stay on board till the end. Okay, now this chart that I'm showing you here on the cost of living index is comparing four major cities. San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, compares it to Texas and to the United States 100 index. Now, the six main expenses that go into determining the cost of living index are housing, utilities, groceries and food, health insurance and health expenses, transportation, miscellaneous, and for families who have children, it also includes childcare and education. The chart also shows you the median home price and the cost of a two-bedroom home, which I'll discuss later. Now, San Antonio ended up with an approximate score of 90, where Austin came in at 119, Dallas came in at 107, and Houston at 97. Texas overall was 94, and of course, the United States at 100. Now, San Antonio is growing, so the cost of living index increased by 1.2% from 2019 in the areas of food, housing, and transportation. But even then, we still scored a score of 90. That's awesome in the overall six expenses. All right, so this next map of San Antonio metro area and downtown is showing the overall pink San Antonio area. And that area is about 89 to 96 cost of living index. The darker pinks and reds are looking at our neighborhoods of Alamo Heights, Chavano Parks, Olmos, Terrell Hills, Castle Hills, Hill Country, Downtown, Stone Oak. There are a lot of awesome neighborhoods that are with homes with over 500 to a million and over 2 million, even up to 8 million. We also have the Dominion, which has homes definitely above a million to 10 million. Now, the outskirts, we have our suburbs on the northwest to Bernie, and then Fair Oaks. North, we have Springs Branch, Bulverde, and to the east, we have New Braunfels, Schertz, Live Oaks. So a variety of neighborhoods and suburbs that you can choose from. So this map shows you that the majority, of San Antonio is within 89 to 96, which is still below the other three major cities. So this next map, I want to point out that we have 4 military bases, 3 of them within 1604, that's the center area of San Antonio, and one of them is north of 1604, because we have a major population of military. We've got about 250,000 veterans and about 100,000 active duty personnel. Therefore, their homes always turning over within a 1 to 3 year period. And this helps our cost of living index, keeping it lower because of the military. There are a lot of support systems also for the military. So now that we reviewed the cost of living index chart, let's get into each of the expenses. Starting with housing, the biggest cost of living expense. And San Antonio came in at 76 out of 100. So the 4 major cities were between 80 to 160, with of course Austin being the highest. And Austin's overall cost of living was 29% higher than San Antonio. Now, when it came to housing, it was 84% higher than San Antonio. Wow. Now let's take a look at this next graphic from the San Antonio Board of Realtors. This graphic shows that the median home price is about $242,000, and this is for the month of May of 2020. The average rent is about $1,500. Now, when it goes to average housing, then it increases to about 286. The days on market that each of the homes turns around is 62 days. This is awesome. So San Antonio only has a 3.1 month inventory, meaning that if no new homes were listed, they would all sell in 3 months, a little over 3 months. Then 65% of the homes are between 200 and 500,000 price range. That's a large percentage. Now, if you're doing research on your own, you're probably going to find Sperling's Best Place. That's going to have the median at about 175 for San Antonio versus our Board of Realtors that I just showed you. Now, the average home age in San Antonio is 36. In the US, it's about 40. We do have lots of growth every year, and it's projected to grow 40% in 10 years. So lots of new homes, lots of new construction. So this next chart shows the condos and townhomes, which are less, and they're lower by 19% from last year. So the median here is at about 138,000, with the average being at about 171. So the last thing I want to mention under housing is property taxes. San Antonio and Texas have a high property tax. San Antonio has a little over 2 as the tax rate. The US average is about 1.78. However, I want to point out, we don't have a state income tax. So we talked about owning a home. Well, how about renting? You may not want to buy right away. You may want to rent. Well, rents are almost as high or higher than a mortgage payment. So depending on the area that you want to rent, like on that map that I show you, the majority of San Antonio, according to the San Antonio Board of Realtors, the average is going to be a little over $1,400. However, the next chart shows that starting out at a studio, you could be at $718, and there are actually some lower than that, going all the way from 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, all the way up to about $1,800. Now, depending on the higher end communities, neighborhoods, you're going to be paying $1,800, $2,000, $2,500 to $3,000 for a 3 bedroom home, 4 bedroom home. So be prepared for that. Now, will you be renting versus buying? Well, that depends. Well, right now the interest rates are at 2.5% to 3.5%. The best they've been in many, many years. Okay. I have a brother 20 years older than me, and I remember him talking about 3.5%, and that's when I was a kid. Okay, so I don't know how long ago that was. So anyway, so 2.5% to 3.5% is awesome. So the majority of your mortgage payment is going to go towards your principal. So you may want to take a real serious look at that. And if purchasing is the way to go for you, hey, I'll help you get the lenders out of our preferred lenders to help you out and find the perfect home for you. Okay, so we talked about purchasing, buying, renting, and now utilities. Utilities came out at an index of 95 for San Antonio. So that comes to about $168 for a couple or $120 for a single person. And that's including electric, water, sewer, and maybe even gas. When it comes to internet, we're looking at an average of about 49. If you want a really, really high speed, it's going to go over. And then for cable TV, okay, you're going to look at about the same, 49, 69, and more, of course, if you want all the other special TV channels. So we talked about utilities. Now comes groceries. So if you love to cook at home, groceries came at an index of 91 for San Antonio versus the United States of 100. So we have awesome grocery stores here. We have the H-E-B, we have Whole Foods, we have Central Market, which is part of H-E-B, but has totally different, more natural, unique products for the higher end community. And then we also have Sprouts and Mexican grocery stores. So we have an abundance. But our number one store in Texas, and only to Texas, is H-E-B by the Butt family. So for those of you like me that's working, and if you're having to go to an office to work, you're going to be eating out. So that's another expense under groceries and food. So for a lunch meal for a single person, it could come to an average of about $12. If you add a beer or wine, you're going to be looking close to $20. For a couple, it's going to be for $37 at, a pub, or in a higher end restaurant, you're going to be looking at $40 to $45. When you start adding wine, because we have wineries. Do we have wineries? We have tons and tons of wineries. You wouldn't think about that for San Antonio, but look at the pictures. We have lots of wineries. So you'll want to consider having some of that. So your cost is going to bring that a little bit higher. And we have Texas Special Beer. Now, health cost in San Antonio is a little high, but it meets up with Houston and Austin at 93 out of 100. However, we have awesome hospitals, medical centers, emergency centers, lots and lots of those that you can get immediate attention. So now we come to transportation. Our fuel prices here, this is June of 2020, is about $1.61 to $1.75 for unleaded fuel. And 79% of the population own vehicles. Then there's maybe about 13% that carpool. Now the commute one way is going to be about 24. That's the average. The nationwide average is about 26 or 28 minutes. Now Texas came in with the index at 100, which is the US average. All the other major cities that we reviewed were at 110 or higher than that. So San Antonio is still with the nationwide average. Okay, so now we come to the costs that are for families that have children. So child care. If you have children, you want to plan that in advance. And child care can average in some places from $50 a day, but the average is more like $107 to $250 a week. Okay, and the national average, according to Sperling's for San Antonio, is over $1,000 per month. For families with children, then they're also going to look at education. So San Antonio schools spend about $9,700 per student. The US average is $12,000 plus per student. So that's about a $3,000 or $2,500 difference, which is pretty good for San Antonio in Texas. So now we covered all the cost of living expenses. So a summary of the cost of living expenses for San Antonio could be about $3,800 for a couple, and when it comes to a single person, about $2,076. So there you have it for the expenses. We'll next go and discuss about the job market and types of jobs in the San Antonio area. So now that we have covered all the cost of living expenses, I have a question for you. Would you like to know what the job market and salaries are in San Antonio, Texas? Well, I thought so. San Antonio is the ideal environment for businesses of all sizes. Whether you're beginning your story or growing your footprint or expanding a thriving enterprise, San Antonio's business-friendly environment promotes growth and progress. San Antonio maintains a skilled workforce bursting with vitality, build of professionals younger than the U.S. average. San Antonio has a median age of 33 to 34. These key factors, plus low business expenses, the proximity to Mexico, centrally located, the diverse culture, attracts investments from international countries, over 30 countries at least. San Antonio's powerhouse employers like Ernst & Young, EY, Oracle, Medtronic, Microsoft, HEB, only found in Texas, Whataburger, USAA, which is for military and military families, large employer and many beneficial financial, banking, insurance services, and Toyota Manufacturing of Texas support a healthy and diverse economy. They're a blend of well-established financial services, rapidly growing life sciences, a booming new energy sphere, a flourishing cybersecurity and technology field, the robust manufacturing sector that provides anything from aircraft to Toyota, and we're going to be getting another Navistar. San Antonio's central location has made it the hub for trade and export throughout the United States, North and South America. Our current unemployment rate is about 3.1%. That is awesome for San Antonio and for Texas. Now, other employment sectors, of course, are the 4 military bases that employ 80,000 active duty personnel and over 200,000 indirect personnel. We also have the retail industry, the food accommodation industries, 15 colleges and universities. Other types of jobs, of course, are real estate development, a lot of service-oriented. We're not only service-oriented, as I just mentioned, a lot of different types of opportunities, technology, IT, aircraft, manufacturing, trucking, and cybersecurity. So there's a multitude. So please don't get the impression that San Antonio is only service-oriented. We're a major trading hub. So keep that in mind when relocating or looking to relocate. San Antonio's future job growth is projected in the next 10 years to be about 40%. That's a major growth. The U.S. average growth is about 33%. This next chart is going to show you the median household average in San Antonio, the San Antonio Metro, New Braunfels area, and Texas. So it starts out with under 15,000 to over 200,000 plus. And so the median household income in San Antonio is over 56,000, with the median hourly wage at $22 per hour or so. The U.S. average as far as the hourly wage is about $24 per hour. And the U.S. median household salary income is about $63,000. This final chart on population of occupations under the job category is showing you the different industries and the percentage of population that are under each job category. So you can take a look in more detail at your convenience. So before I get to the final things I really wanted you to wait for, I want to let you know that Texas does not have a state income tax, but it does have a sales tax. And this next graph of the United States, or this map of the United States, shows Texas at a sales tax at about a little over 8.1. The actual sales tax here is 8.25% of goods that you buy. So be prepared for that. When I moved from Oregon, it took me a while to get used to that. Oregon doesn't have a sales tax, but it does have a state income tax. So it was so cool, right? I didn't have to calculate 8.25 times whatever I bought. So it took me a while to get used to that in Texas, but I'm pretty much used to it now. Okay, here's the final step that you were waiting for. The major cities in the U.S. comparing to the U.S. as far as the cost of living. Dallas at the bottom shows that it is 9% larger than San Antonio, or San Antonio is 9% lower in cost of living than Dallas. And then when it comes to New York, it's about 70% lower. And then San Francisco, San Antonio is 90% lower. I don't think you want to relocate to those areas. So San Antonio is going to be one of your cities to really think about in Texas. So the next map of the United States shows which states are the least expensive to live in. Check it out at the bottom. And centrally located. Texas, green at number 4. It rates out of 50. I'm excited. I was excited before I moved here. This final map, all kinds of pink and dark pink colors, with the exception of Texas in yellow, shows that Texas has the lowest cost of living of the United States. So really, really think about this. So when you're ready to consider moving or learning more about San Antonio, remember to reach out to us, give us a call, send us a text or an email, or even that little pigeon carrier. However you want to get a hold of me, we've got your back with moving to San Antonio, Texas. So stay tuned for the next video, okay?